Greetings. In my last video, I, Dicktor Van Doomcock, laid out my 3 laws of canon and declared war on those corporate forces who seek to destroy our modern myths in order to maximize their profits. An insanely misguided strategy, since one never prospers by alienating their allies. But let that pass. We guardians of canon are at war, and I have news from the front. Be of good cheer, my allies. We are winning. Doomcock can now report no less than 2 victories, one a clear triumph, the other tinged with tragedy. And so, I will begin with the good news. Both CBS and Lucasfilm are feeling our wrath, and the power of our anger has sent them reeling. Like wounded behemoths, thrashing blindly in pain, CBS and Lucasfilm this week reacted violently, slashing at themselves in an attempt to stop this pain whose source they are too stupid to identify. Their actions were misguided, I'm afraid. The solutions they have announced will do little, if anything, to help. But the fact that they did act demonstrates that we are being heard, my minions. The fact that they are thrashing in pain shows that we are winning. This week, Collider reported that Lucasfilm has put all their Star Wars anthology films on hold. In this exclusive story written by Steve Frosty Weintraub, Collider reports, sources with knowledge of the situation tell Collider that Lucasfilm has decided to put plans for more Star Wars story spin-off movies on hold, instead opting to focus their attention on Star Wars Episode 9 and what the next trilogy of Star Wars films will be after that film. Sources tell us that the previously rumored Obi-Wan movie was in active development, but those who were working on the film are no longer involved. It was recently reported that Logan filmmaker James Mangold was in early talks to write and direct the Boba Fett film, but that was before Solo's release. This news comes in the wake of the disappointing launch of Solo, which was only Lucasfilm's second Star Wars story spin-off, but which received mixed positive reviews and fell short of box office expectations. And so it begins. The retreat of Lucasfilm when confronted with our rage. It is clear that Lucasfilm has heard us and fears us. It is as I have foreseen. In my last video, which can be found on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/OverlordDVD, Doomcock told you all that victory was in our collective hand, as surely as if it were adorned with the Infinity Gauntlet itself. All we need do to crush these cultural rapists is stay home. Resist by abstaining. Grind them into the dirt with our indifference. That's all it takes. Because regardless of their idiotic social justice warrior crusade, their corruption of our mythologies to advance their own misguided agendas, the only thing they revere more than political propaganda is money. And when we stop buying their plastic pieces of rose and ray and ruin, when we let their propaganda echo in largely empty theaters, when they trumpet their new project and are met overwhelmingly with withering scorn from Doomcock and his guardians of canon, their shareholders, who are largely oblivious to their social justice warrior agenda, will revolt and bring them to heel. Such is the power of the marketplace. Such is the strength of capitalism. All we had to do is boycott Solo, and behold, Lucasfilm panics, cancels the Obi-Wan movie and the Boba Fett movie they announced solely to conceal the fact that Solo was an unmitigated disaster. They even canceled the Rose Tico Solo movie that I'm sure was festering in the talentless void that passes for Kathleen Kennedy's mind. Once it became clear that Solo was not going to break even, Lucasfilm spasmed like a leg tapped at the knee. Such is our power to make a juggernaut stagger and kneel. Make no mistake, Lucasfilm heard us and flinched. We made this happen. They heard us, and they reversed course not out of respect or affection for their lifelong fans. No, they reversed course because of fear. They fear us, and now all we have to do is embrace our power. Despite their bluster, despite all their false flag Twitter accounts and frenzied snowflakes blowing impotently in a blizzard of banal bullshit, in the end we are winning. And while it's true that Disney has not yet given us what we require, they have not as of yet fired Kathleen Kennedy and cancelled Ryan Needledick Johnson's trilogy. Patience, my young apprentices. All we need do to secure these victories is boycott Star Wars Episode 9. That will crush any vestige of resistance left in these weasels. It will be the death blow to this new and repulsive direction Kennedy has imposed on our Star Wars. While it is true that Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, and Leia Organa have been squandered and slandered beyond all repair, and nothing can undo that save our collective resolve to banish these films from our awareness, throw out our Disney Star Wars DVDs, and embrace only the first 6 films as canon, according to Doomcock's 3 laws of canon. Though we can't undo the damage to Star Wars, in true supervillain tradition, we can strike a blow for vengeance. Like Khan blowing himself up to strike one last blow at Kirk, we can disintegrate their profits for hate's sake, taking a stand for quality and using the smoking ruins as a warning to future filmmakers to tread lightly when dealing with our treasured mythologies. Tread lightly, or feel our righteous wrath. Along these lines, this week delivered us more news from the front. A pair of victories has been scored in short order. Great victories, alas, tainted with great tragedy. On June 14th, The Hollywood Reporter posted an article, Star Trek Discovery showrunners out, Alex Kurtzman to take over. According to their report, CBS All Access's Star Trek Discovery is making its second showrunner change. Out are Gretchen Berg and Aaron Harberts, who originally took over the role at the helm of the drama from Brian Fuller. Executive producer Alex Kurtzman, who has guided the franchise in a few of its feature films, will take over as showrunner on Season 2. As part of the change, Kurtzman will now also oversee the Discovery Writers' Room for Season 2. We've made some producer changes at Star Trek Discovery. The series continues under the creative vision and leadership of executive producer and co-creator Alex Kurtzman. Discovery remains on course for Season 2 in 2019, with new and continuing stories that build on its successful premiere season, producers CBS Television Studios said Thursday in a statement to The Hollywood Reporter. Successful premiere season, eh? Is that what you're trying to sell us, CBS? In my experience, successful shows announce their ratings to the public. Where are your ratings for Star Trek Discovery, CBS? Other than in the toilet, of course. Why aren't you crowing about them, instead of thrashing and flailing around behind the scenes, firing your producers and writers left and right higgledy-piggledy when they've succeeded so brilliantly? Perhaps CBS is feeling the sting of our wrath as well? The article continues. Sources say the decision to oust Berg and Harberts was based not on the creative, but instead for leadership and operational issues. Oh, of course they did. It wouldn't be the creative issues that have severed all true Star Trek fans from watching this rot. This article continues. Sources say the budget for the Season 2 premiere ballooned, with the overages expected to come out of subsequent episodes from Discovery's sophomore run. Insiders also stress that Berg and Harberts became increasingly abusive to the Discovery writing staff, with Harberts said to have leaned across the writer's room table while shouting an expletive at a member of the show's staff. Oh, for fuck's sake, of course they did! Because this writing staff, lousy with soap opera writers and Gilmore Girl alumni who have zero experience with science fiction in general and Star Trek in particular, are the bottom of the creative barrel. Jesus Christ! Can you blame the producers for yelling at an idiot who would write shit like Sonar in Space, or come up with brilliant innovations like Spock has a stepsister who was Sarek's experiment to see if Vulcans could coexist with humans, even though he himself is married to a human and has a half-human son? How the fuck do you avoid leaning over the table and saying, "You stupid fucking piece of shit, who told you you could write before you even learned how to think"? Do you even read the shit you're handing in? What? Did the dog eat your fucking homework, and so you had to write this script on the short bus on the way into school, you contemptible cretin? If I had a chimp, I'd give him a goddamn crayon and some paper, and you'd be on your way back to Gilmore Girls or whatever cesspool of suck spawned you. Now get out of my fucking sight, you waste of jizz! Oh, that you had been spilled on the sands instead of polluting your mother's womb. Begone, you fuck-hard imbecile, before I disintegrate you where you stand, cowering. See, if Doomcock had been the showrunner of STD, that would have been Doomcock's rant every morning before he even had his coffee. HR would love Doomcock. Obviously, Doomcock does not play well with others, but you see my point. It's hilarious in a grim sort of way that these so-called writers got their feelings hurted when the mean producer called them out for sucking. Doomcock would call them out for even existing. But I digress. The point is, do you believe CBS cleaned house like this midway through Season 2 because the producers were abusing the writers? Abusing writers is Hollywood's national sport. My God, abusing writers is the only way a lot of these worthless asshole producers can get hard anymore. Is that the reason for the changes? Or does CBS hear us? Could it be that our rage and hostility, and particularly our refusal to watch this trash, has told CBS that they've made a terrible mistake, and this purge has been a belated and failed attempt to right the STD ship? Sadly, this ship has already sunk, and although this panicked reaction is clearly a response to our vociferous rebellion, the news is grim, my friends. Because they put Alex Kurtzman in charge. And putting Alex Kurtzman in charge is like hiring Kim Kardashian to give you talent lessons. Lessons in having a giant ass, perhaps, I could see that. But talent lessons? Ah, what a misguided tragedy. For Kurtzman is at the heart of the problem. Yes, firing the hack producers along with the arch-hack Akiva Goldsman, the cinematic equivalent of Stalin, the butcher of scores of movies that died bleeding on his word processor. These are pleasing victories that demonstrate our power, but they are fruitless ones. CBS has reacted, but their attempt to reverse course has only backed them over a cliff, because mere days later, CNET.com reported, quote, CBS Television Studios on Tuesday announced a 5-year deal with Star Trek Discovery showrunner Alex Kurtzman and his secret hideout production company, who will oversee the production of new Star Trek series. The deal, which runs through 2023, is reported to include new traditional shows such as Discovery, shorter miniseries, and possibly animation. One of these possible shows could be a huge deal for fans of Star Trek The Next Generation. The Hollywood Reporter says Patrick Stewart might reprise his role as Captain Jean-Luc Picard in a series that would be led by Kurtzman. And God help us, Akiva Goldsman, a former executive producer on Discovery. THR's sources say a deal isn't close to complete and might not happen. Meanwhile, Variety is reporting 4 more possible shows. These include a series set at Starfleet Academy from the creators Stephanie Savage and Josh Schwartz, who developed CW's reboot of Dynasty and Marvel's Runaway series for Hulu, a limited series based on the Wrath of Khan movie, another limited series with no available plot details, and an animated series. God help us. And so, out of the frying pan, into the fire. Alex Kurtzman is a graduate of the Bad Robot School of Cinematic Demolition, the ground zero for Star Trek's demise. While Jar Jar Abrams' Star Trek 2009 was a largely harmless bit of fun set in a clearly divergent timeline that did little damage to canon due to being an isolated universe, Star Trek Into Darkness was a goddamned abomination. Written by the awful Alex Kurtzman, presumably on toilet paper using his own poop, Star Trek Into Darkness was a mind-numbingly idiotic exercise that over the course of 2 hours absolutely destroyed the Star Trek universe, rendering both space travel and death obsolete with suitcase interstellar transporters and magic Khan blood that revives the dead. It was Kurtzman who brought this insane and cretinous take on Star Trek to Star Trek Discovery and shoved it right up the ass of infuriated fans who liked their entertainment free of social justice warrior crap and infused with at least some semblance of intelligence. But now Kurtzman has been given full control of Star Trek by the fuckheads at CBS, and my rage is bottomless. When I heard this news, this is what I tweeted to my followers. Star Trek is fucking dead. If there was any chance of resuscitating it, that chance vanished when that talentless piece of shit Kurtzman got a 5-year contract to, quote, develop more Star Trek shows. Now there is no hope. It's dead, Jim. R.I.P. Star Trek. Followed by another tweet, the damage Star Trek Discovery has done to Star Trek in just 1 season is staggering. The destruction of canon, the sodomizing of its ideals, the pollution of the fan base with mindless, shallow idiots. Can Trek survive 5 years of this shit? No, it can't. So we see again a victory in that Star Trek heard our wrath, feared it, and responded. But being clueless, they took the wrong action. They turned the keys to the kingdom over to the wrong guy, and now matters are worse. Under his idiotic guidance, the rot in Star Trek will become systemic, metastasizing into a virulent malaise that will rot the franchise down to its bones. And so, in the midst of our victory, defeat. But know this, we are being heard. Our power is undeniable. Do not believe the spin of these 2 companies trying to rationalize their retreats as strategic. They fear us, my minions. The power is ours. We are the guardians of canon. We are winning the canon wars. Though we have been under assault and the enemy has gained so much ground while we slumbered, we are awake now, and we are beating them back. Doomcock urges you to act. Doomcock commands you to continue to make your displeasure known. Make CBS and Lucasfilm feel it keenly. Do not be deterred by the resistance of misguided pod fans and mindless franchise consumers. Their squeals of outrage should be music to your ears, a signal that your rhetorical arrow has flown true and found its mark. And more, boycott CBS and Lucasfilm. Don't buy anything they're selling, don't watch their shows, avoid their channels, hit them in their pocketbooks and sink their ratings, and then they will finally listen. We know they hear us now. These reactions prove it. But they still haven't taken the right action, and we must make them pay until they do. Join Doomcock's war. Become a guardian of canon. go to patreon.com/Doomcock and join the legions of fans forming a community of free thinkers and cultural warriors assembled there. Together, we are unbeatable. They began this war on our cultural heritage and shared mythology. So be it. But we will end it on our terms, together. From Xanadu at the center of the earth, I am Dicktor Van Doomcock, and I bid you all stay angry.